So now we're going to take a look at the frequency modulation side of FM8. So before we do that, I've just loaded up a simple reactor blocks patch just to sort of try and explain what frequency modulation synthesis is. Now, those of you that have tinkered with a subtractive analog synthesizer will be familiar with an LFO. So just get a sound coming out of this. Now I've set this up so that I can use the LFO to modulate the pitch of the oscillator. So you're probably all familiar with that siren type effect where the pitch moves up and down in time with the LFO. Now LFOs are called LFOs for a reason, in that they generally, although this one does go into the audible frequency range, they generally oscillate a lot slower than an oscillator. So generally speaking, like I say, this one goes up to actually 100 hertz, which is obviously into the audible frequency range. But an oscillator might have a range of, say, 0 or 1 hertz up to 20,000 plus cycles per second or hertz. So what happens if we now modulate the pitch of this oscillator, not with an LFO, but actually with another oscillator? What sort of effects do we have there? Well, I've got this set up on modulation slot A. You can hear that we get these new textures by combining two sine waves together. We call this one that's actually connected to the output, we call this one the carrier, and we call this oscillator that's modulating the carrier, we call it, funnily enough, the modulator. Now at the moment, the ratio is 1:1. So if we just go back to FM8, they're both set to 1, like that. Now as I change that ratio, again we'll get these weird, sometimes harmonic, sometimes enharmonic textures created. So that's the basis of frequency modulation synthesis. You've got an oscillator or an operator called the carrier, which actually produces the sound, and then you've got a modulator which modulates the frequency content of the carrier. Now I've just got one carrier and one modulator in this reactor block setup. In FM8, we've got 8 operators that we can use as either carriers, like F is at the moment, carrier, 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 or if we route E by right-clicking into F, E is the modulator, F is the carrier. And if I just do that, you can hear we get that classic FM digital type sound. So let's have a look now at how we can use carriers and modulators to create some new interesting textures.